Good morning. We will be beginning here shortly. So as a reminder, if you have your cell phones, please make sure that those are either turned off or turned on silent before we begin. Well, good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the 2023 City of Goodyear's State of the City. My name is Jeremy Dyke, and I will be your MC this morning. Originally, we had Jordan Bird that was slated to be here to be your MC, but about 10 o'clock last night, we got the call that Jordan's wife was in labor, and so he is at the hospital this morning. I think that was a very well-planned 9-month, I'm going to get out of this free, right? Yeah. Well, 2022 was a phenomenal year here in Goodyear, and we are excited to highlight some of our city's accomplishments over the past year and share our vision for what is to come in 2023 and beyond. Now, we are honored this morning to have a number of esteemed elected officials from around the region and many important community partners joining us today. And I'd like to recognize our elected officials in the room and ask if you would please, for the sake of time, hold your applause until everyone has been called. Goodyear Mayor Joe Pizzillo, Vice Mayor Laura Cano, Council Members Sherry Loretano, Wally Campbell, Bill Stipp, Brandon Hampton, and Vicki Gillis. Also joining us this morning are Arizona Legislative District 23 Representative Mariana Sandoval, Chairman of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, Clint Hickman. Mayor of Buckeye, Eric Orsborn. Mayor Litchfield Park, Tom Schoaf. And Avondale Council Member Curtis Nielsen. Thank you for being here. We'd also like to take a moment and welcome everyone that is watching via live stream and appreciate you joining us for this very special occasion. At this time, I'd ask we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by our Goodyear Youth Commissioners.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Goodyear Youth Commissioners, for leading us in the pledge and for your great contributions to our city. Now at this time, I'd like to have a few opening remarks. It is my honor and my privilege to welcome the Mayor of Goodyear, Mayor Joe Pizzillo.
First, nothing like this happens without great staff. I always like to start off all my speeches thanking staff, because everything you see around this, I show up, I have my script, I'm good to go. But none of this happens without fantastic staff. You have a fantastic council that works well together. You got fantastic staff that puts all of this on. So I'm blessed to have that. So again, thank you, staff, for all you do. I really appreciate it. Good morning, and thank you for all being here. I'm happy to report, as the 9th fastest growing city in the nation, the city of Goodyear experienced a year of tremendous growth in 2022. And 2023 promises to be another year in which our city thrives. We celebrate some incredible milestones last year, and we are looking forward to continuing that momentum in the coming year. Accomplishments, one of our biggest accomplishments, and one thing I'm really proud about, is the opening of the Goodyear's new City Hall. If you haven't been there, you ought to check it out. It is awesome. And the Civic Square Park. Our grand opening in August was a celebration decades in the making. Since then, we have held a number of great events at the park, creating a central community gathering spot for entertainment and family fun with food trucks, concerts, and our Holiday on the Square activities over 3 weekends in December. And I expect that to continue on throughout in the future. We are at the beginning stage of what the new city center, the heart of Goodyear, is what we're looking to build there. We will become, and there are some very exciting announcements coming soon on new businesses in this area, offering great dining, shopping, and entertainment. We are building a complete city, and I say that again, a complete city, services for all, which means that we are focused on bringing the services and amenities that our residents need and want right here in Goodyear. This means that we'll have a diverse housing options, a world-class medical care availability locally, as well as good-paying jobs, and the entertainment and dining options that our residents want. And just a side note, if any of you have been to BJ's lately, you know that it's clamoring for quality restaurants here, if you can try to get in around lunchtime. Having a complete city means our residents won't have to travel to other parts of the valley to get their needs met. And hopefully maybe some of the Buckeye people will come join us as well there, right, Mayor? Yeah, I know. Our conservative fiscal policies have positioned us well to withstand the uncertainties and the other cities have experienced in the settling global economy. Goodyear's economic development efforts are paying off through enhanced community for residents to eat, shop locally, which is reflective in the amount of sales tax collected. Sales tax collections are exceeding last year's by nearly 4% and exceeding expectation by 10%. We've maintained a total city property tax of approximately $1.74 for the past 6 years. We have fully funded reserves and replacements. Our finances are stable and growing, and we are optimistic about future city revenues. And because we are a growing city, prepared with the infrastructure needed for continuing growing. One of the things I'm really proud of is we have sound financial policies that help us weather through a lot of issues from 2008 Great Recession till today. And that's the help of staff and our council to make sure that we have money in place to deal with these issues. As I speak with residents, there are a few issues that come up, and obviously no different than anywhere else. Water, new development in the city, and traffic. Okay, all three of these issues are growing cities throughout this valley and are facing the council, and I am committed to reaching the best solutions to address each one of these. Water. The city has a robust water portfolio of surface water, groundwater, and effluent. Even though a Tier 2 stage has been declared on the Colorado River, those shortages do not have an immediate impact to the water supplies in Goodyear, and the city is still available to meet our water demands. Currently, we only deliver about 50% of our water allocation to the residents. That's half is stored in the ground, which amounts to over 7 years of water stored. We have a 100-year assured water supply for any approved development. This means that any new development, whether residential, commercial, or industrial, is guaranteed to have access to water for 100 years. Essentially, each vacant piece of land in Goodyear has an allocation projected water so we can grow responsibly. Goodyear currently has the water resources to sustain existing demands and project growth. Our new surface water treatment, which is a thing that the council all moved on, can produce up to 8 million gallons of water a day. 8 million gallons a day, and can be expanded to produce another 8 million gallons a day. Typically, the water demand for any given day is around 10 million gallons. Water conservation is also a big part, and we pride ourselves on that strategy with our residents, and we also have a plan in place because one drop saved is one that you don't have to pump. So we're very proud on that. Goodyear residents are currently only using, and this is what I'm really proud of, 83 gallons per day per person, which is the lowest in the valley, which helps keep overall demand down, allowing the city greater opportunities in managing growth. Housing. Although there's many multifamily developments under construction throughout our city, currently single-family housing stock in Goodyear is 86%, an indicator that we will not have a great that we have not had a great diversity in types of resident dwelling options for our residents. Again, there's a lot of people coming in here that don't necessarily want to maintain a house. And based on these rents, we're getting all kinds coming in here because the rents, and that's, I think, one of our bigger challenges, affordable housing. The current housing market makes it very challenging for people to purchase a home, and we need to offer a variety of housing options for those who are moving here to work and for those who are already here and need more choice. Young professionals our dedicated military personnel and seniors looking to downsize all need affordable and low-maintenance options. Right, City Manager? That's what you were looking for, right? Contrary to what some believe, research has shown that today's multifamily dwellings are not any more likely to experience a crime than any typical single-family housing development. Rather, they are more likely to facilitate a community environment where neighbors get to know one another, socialize, and develop supportive connections. We are continuing to find ways to enhance our service to ensure that Goodyear remains a safe and responsible place in which to live. Let's take a moment to watch a video produced by our digital and communications department that touches on these and some of the other issues. Go ahead, cue it up. You ready? Get up here and get ready. My wife and I moved here to Goodyear in 2002. There wasn't a whole lot here in the city of Goodyear. Not a whole lot of things to choose from. You know, it was just starting to take off. The population was fairly sparse. We're 106,000 people now. We're the 9th fastest growing city in the country. It's amazing. It's grown so tremendously. We're building a complete city, one where you can work, play, and raise a family. It's kind of nice when you're in a complete city where you don't have to ride somewhere to get somewhere. You can get it locally. You can get it, you don't have to get on this I-10, which I call the biggest parking lot in Phoenix, you know, to head into work. So that's the complete city that has all of those resources. Every time I'm out in the public, what the public is craving for is more quality amenities, not drive-through restaurants. They want quality sit-down restaurants. They want more entertainment. They want more retail to select from. So to do that, we got to have the jobs here, we got to have the housing here, and we have to have the amenities that want to keep them there. Anybody who's been in here, let's say under a rock, let's not even say under a rock, let's say 3 years, 4 years, if they woke up from a slumber in 3 or 4 years, they'd look around and go, whoa, 3 or 4 years, look what we got here. We got a beautiful rec center, we've got a beautiful city hall, we've got office that's eventually, once that gets filled, is going to have a duplicate over on the other side of it. We've come a long, long ways in such a short period of time. But I think a lot has to do with the environment, and that's why we're growing so fast. That's why people want to be here. Anybody who's been here for a while notices that some of our major roads, Estrella Parkway, Litchfield, Bullard, is picking up a lot of traffic. So that's going to be a top priority to try to get that traffic moving through the city. These are some of the growing pains, unfortunately, as you become the 9th fastest growing city, you know, in the nation. So we're working on it. There's a lot of scallop streets out there, and typically the developer puts those in. They're half-road improvements, in which we're going to try to take care of some of those scallop streets up front, and so we can move traffic throughout the city. And then when the development comes, we'll collect the money from there. This is something we've been waiting for, and I know personally, I'm very excited about this because I always wanted a gathering place. I wanted a place where you could go. We could have festivals, we could have food trucks, we could have live music, we could have people who would gather and enjoy themselves. And that's nothing but positive I heard when I was out running around here, during our events. People enjoy what we've done here. And I like to say, you ain't seen nothing yet. What we're looking at to do, they have amusements, to have retail, to have mixed use, which will be an office, etc., for entertainment. So it's going to be all walkable for a downtown. So you'll be able to enjoy a variety of things that we never had. But I see this as a bustling area and be the envy of the west part of the valley or southwest part of the valley. That's how I see it. And that's when I close my eye, I can see it. And I know it's coming because we've got good partners in place right now. I'm going to keep working harder and harder to make sure that this vision that I mentioned to you comes to fruition. We will always invest in public safety, first responders, always, always. That's number one. And I would put our police as well as our fire up against anybody. Well, I know we've got the best and the brightest firsthand on fire, and I can say nothing less on our police. The gingerbread cowboy. I always like to say we are a community, not just a collection of neighborhoods. It's not by accident. That's because we survey them. What do you want? We survey every 2 years. What's working for you? Where is our service lacking? What would you like to see improvements? And we take that seriously and we address them. I know that seems lip service with a lot of people these days, but it's not here at Goodyear. This is a great city because nobody does it by themselves. You know, I hate the word I. It's we. What I mean by we, it's we, the council team. It's we, city staff. It's we, city management. It's we, the people that volunteer for the city. I've always said to myself, if you like what you're doing, it's not a job. I love this job. I do. I'm having a blast.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mayor. I'll just start by introducing myself. I'm Tammy Vo, Goodyear's Digital Communications Director. It's good to see everyone here today. Mayor, first of all, I'll say congratulations on the recent election.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be the mayor of the nation's 9th fastest growing city?
Well, first of all, seeing all these people out here in the audience, I love it. I mentioned if you love what you're doing, it's not a job. And the fact that I have a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old granddaughter that I want to leave a better place than I got it makes it all worthwhile. And this is a great community. The staff, as I mentioned before, I hate the word I. It's not an I issue. It's a we issue. You know, our volunteers are really top-notch here that step up and help us. You know, when you go to the ballpark, those people cleaning your seats, and they're all volunteers. During the Great Recession in '08, that's when a lot of them started picking up thousands of hours. They helped us in the PD. They helped us in a variety of work in front. They just step up on an ever basis, whether we're asking for a committee or a commission. When we do things in the city, whether it's doing water rates, whether it's doing our capital projects, whether it's doing our general plan, they're all citizen-driven. And that's why I think this is a great community, because we involve the citizenry.
And I think we're in a really special moment in time for Goodyear. We're seeing a lot of change, a lot of growth. Is there one word or maybe a phrase that you could use to describe where we're at right now?
Well, being one of the 9th fastest growing city is that there's a lot of challenges, okay? Streets, roads, and that's where your excellent staff comes into play. These aren't easy fixes. You know, that's why we decided to step up when it came to our actual capital improvements on some of our roads. The scallop streets, typically the developer would come in and do their half street. But we set money aside for us to do it in advance so we can try to get traffic moving through. And then when the developers come in, they will pay us back. So that's what I think some of our bigger challenges, street lights, getting them synchronized, because we are growing. But at the same token, we're still trying to keep that small town feel here. And sometimes that's a little tough when you're growing at 9. But I think with the people that are here and the community that we have, like I say, we're not a collection of neighborhoods. We are a community here. And that's what I think is the strongest thing about the city.
And it might surprise some people to know that we're actually only 12% built out as a city. There's a lot of room for growth. What do you think it is that's bringing so many people to Goodyear?
You know, I think what's bringing people here is the sense of community. I really do. If you go to any of these communities, whether you're going south, down in, I guess it's south in Canton. I always call it up the hill, but it's south or up here, you know, in the area north of 10 with Pebble Creek. Everybody wants to participate in city activities. In fact, I'm meeting with one, I think it's this week, to discuss about how we can promote one of their charity events down there. And again, our fire department, our public safety, all is top notch. And unfortunately or fortunately, whatever the case, I had to use our fire at one time. So I know personally, not for me, for my wife who's had health issues, where they had to come, and I thought we were going to lose her that night. But the fire department is so good in stabilizing and get her to where she needs to be. I know firsthand, hiring the best and the brightest is a good reason to do that. And I will cut no cost or no corners on that.
You talked earlier about kind of keeping that small town feel,
Yes.
which is kind of an interesting thing to say when you're growing at such a rate as we are. The things that are important to a lot of our residents, we hear a lot about, you know, the restaurants,
Right.
the retail, entertainment. So we want a lot of that, but we also kind of have that urge to have that small town feel. Can you actually balance those two as you look to grow?
We're trying, and I think a lot of it is getting out in the neighborhoods, explaining. I was just there last night in one of our communities explaining where we're looking to go and how we're putting together some of our long-range plans. And I think engaging our communities and asking them for some feedback. Again, we survey our residents every 2 years. And it's supposed to be delta plus or minus 5%. We look to see what services are we doing good, what services need improvement, what are you happy with, what you're not happy with, and we tweak our budget and the services we do based on that. And I think that's part of it, is trying to keep in tune. Getting engagement with your community allows you to keep that small time feel. I think when it gets lost is when you forget about that and you're just off running and doing your own thing without that feedback and openness to the community. So I think we do a pretty good job of that. And like I mentioned in my opening remarks, you know, I'm so proud of our staff because they make us all look good, especially at council. our staff makes us look good. So when we're out there and we get kudos on that, I say, hey, it's the staff that makes us look good.
You've talked a lot about your vision for Goodyear. You call it building a complete city. What does that mean to you, and what does that actually look like?
Well, I'm hoping, my vision is I shut my eyes when we see our new city hall in Bullard, and we see the road coming in, it goes all the way to Bullard. Everything north of that's going to be mixed use, retail, restaurants, commercial. South of that's going to be the same thing. Walkable downtown is what I'm looking for. And when I mean complete city, all services, health services, entertainment, retail. We've got Hobby Lobby coming in. I know a lot of people out there like, yep, see, I get a clap for Hobby Lobby out in there, right? So that's what I call complete, where you have access to everything within your community so you don't actually have to leave. The problem is with traffic and I-10, if you can keep them here working, and that's where jobs come into play, quality jobs, and you can get them with the entertainment or shopping, I think that is a complete community.
And I think when you walk through, I mean, I know for me, when I walk through the doors of City Hall every day and you see what's there, but not just in City Hall, as you look toward the landscape, there's a lot of dirt there right now, but that's changing. Do you sometimes have to kind of pinch yourself to say, wow, this is where we're at?
Yes, because I was on first council in 09, and I look at 09 and I look at now. Big difference. The other thing, when you look at all this stuff that's coming in here as well, too, is our city hall and that office building. We had a private-public partnership in which they donated land, they helped build a building, and you know what? For a private-public partnership, on time, on budget. In this environment, let me know how many have been able to pull that off,
Sure.
right? So again, it's not by ourselves, and again, it's not the I, it's a we, and they're going to help us grow, and I think we have the right partners in place right now as we head further east of where we are right now to develop that full city.
So a lot of good things obviously happening in Goodyear, but I mean, let's be realistic here. We do have growing pains, right? With any
yes.
family, with any city that moves its way in transitions. If there's one thing that we hear a lot about from our residents, it's the topic of multifamily housing, apartments, and industrial, the warehouses, and we hear a lot about that from people. What do you tell people on those two topics when we talk about the growth of the city and where we're going?
It's a good point. I think some of it is educating the public, and I like to call them employment centers, all right? Because warehousing to me donates people just coming in and out and dropping things off. On 303, it's in the loop contours, which means that's the area that's about the only thing you can build there on 303. And we're trying our best, and that won't be all the time, trying our best to put any industrial around where the airport, because you don't put housing around airport. Mm-hmm. But as you look at all this stuff moving forward, some of our biggest challenges when you talk about multifamily, and I was explaining that at Pebble Creek last night, is right now they pay 2.5% rent, which probably they're paying more right now because of the rent than your primary property tax for residents inside the city when you do the calculation. That money goes for fire, police, road maintenance, all these rec programs we do. And unfortunately, like I told them last night, we may need some help down at the legislature, even if you can give the governor a call, because there is a movement down there to get rid of this. And we really rely on this money. It's $5 million to us, just that alone. I can translate that into 2 fire stations operations. I can translate that probably into about 40 police officers. Who knows how many rec programs that would take. And $5 million is a lot of money to the city. It's $360 million, if I'm quoting my numbers correctly, for all 91 cities if they get rid of the food and the rental tax. And there are some people down at the legislature saying that the 91 cities could just drop $361 million and not affect their day-to-day services, which is incorrect. One size doesn't fit all. There are some cities down there that rely a lot more heavily on this than others do. And that's what we try to explain to them. So we always try to push local control, let the local leaders decide what they need to operate, and if they're not doing a good job, their citizens will tell them such.
Mayor, look into your crystal ball, okay? Let's say 10, maybe 20 years from now. What does Goodyear look like at that time?
10 to 20 years from now, I'm hoping a vibrant downtown, that people are going to come all around to enjoy entertainment. In fact, the distillery that's being brought right now is going to have live music. I think it's country music. I like to slip some early rock in there if I could, but it'll be country music. And we're going to have that kind of going. And I see a vibrant downtown, all walkable. I really do. And I think in 10 years, 8 years, I'll probably have to give up my motorcycle. But in 10 years, I see the vibrant community kind of going forward.
How's your dancing, though?
Not good.
Okay.
Not good.
Okay.
And I think Alma can, Norma can actually vouch for that. So yeah.
And, as we're looking into the future, when people look back at your time as mayor, what do you hope that they will say just about your legacy at this time?
Well, just like any mayors, the ones sitting out here in the audience know them very well. Mayor of Buckeye and Mayor of Litchfield Park, that we care truly about our city. We want to leave it in better shape than what we brought here, and that everybody was happy with the end result. And that's the reason why we do this. That's the reason why we all do this. We care for our community. And that's why we do this. It isn't for the big bucks. It's for a love of community why we do this.
And before we wrap up, we know you are an avid motorcycle rider.
Yes.
Which we love. If we were to see you on the streets of Goodyear riding, what song might be playing in your AirPods at that moment?
There are several. You'll have some AC/DC going. All right, Thunderstruck.
Okay.
Or Those About the Rock, We Salute You. There's a lot of them in there. Or Tom Petty. I'm a Tom Petty fan as well. Okay? So I like Tom Petty. In fact, at our, our 4th of July, I had one of the songs play on stage, and I asked Sherry, identify which one, and she knew right away when they were playing on there which one it was. So.
After all these years, you kind of start figuring it out, right, Sherry?
Yeah, it's kind of easy. That's why I'm hoping with the Distillery we can talk it into maybe a little classic rock in there somewhere. But I know
Mayor's
it's gonna be
request.
Yeah, yes.
I like that. Well, Mayor Pizzillo, thank you so much for your leadership and the leadership of our city council. There's so many great things ahead, so many exciting things ahead. We always say it's a great time to be in Goodyear, and those are not just words. I think a lot of us echo that same sentiment, and just appreciate your leadership. The mayor you see here today is the same mayor that we see in the hallways every day at City Hall. So thank you so much for your leadership, and we appreciate that.
And the one thing, what you see is what you get. I'm about as down to earth as you're going to get. The people at Pebble Creek saw that the other day, right, Wally? That's right. So, but yeah. And again, it's a team effort. I got a great city council. This thing doesn't get done without the city council. We're a team. We're all working for one goal, to make this a great city, just like the other city councils that we have here, or in the others. So that's all part of it, and I think that's a lot has to do with our growth and people coming here, because when they see cohesiveness and they see people working together, they want to be here. If they see you fighting among each other, they don't want to be here. They don't want contention. So we have that, and I think that's one of the pluses of this great city.
Well, are you ready for some cuteness overload, Mayor?
Oh, when it comes to the kids and the reading, this one coming you're going to see is just awesome.
So we talked to some kids at Mabel Padgett Elementary School to find out what they would do if they were mayor.
Yes. So this one should be good.
If I were mayor, I would add a dog and cat cafe. Make a party at the fire station. Add more pools for kids who don't have pools. It's going to be separated between dogs and cats. I would build a 5-star hotel for the poor so they can have stuff to eat.
Make an animal shelter that's specialized in certain ways for getting more animals adopted.
Create a program so it provides education and jobs for homeless people.
Make more homeless shelters so when they're back on their feet and have enough money to buy a house, they can get a house. If I were mayor, I would meet with kids around our cities to find out what kind of problems our city has. And more soccer fields for kids who could play on them close to people's homes.
I would make specialized toddler theme parks so that certain kids would be able to do certain things. Like example, there could be an autistic area for little kids.
Plant more trees at local parks to provide more shade.
Meeting days with teachers to see what I can improve in the schools.
The little girl at the dog and cat hotel, she's got my vote, so. There is nothing like the honesty of kids. It just makes your day. Well, thank you, Tammy, and thank you, Mayor. That was a great discussion. Well, like many of our Goodyear leaders, Mayor Pizzillo is passionate when it comes to serving our community and recognizing the work that's being done here in Goodyear. And our city is filled with residents, individuals, organizations, and businesses that are helping each day to make Goodyear a complete city. Now, it's with this in mind that we would like to now present our Citizen of the Year and our Corporate Citizen of the Year awards. Now, first up is going to be our Citizens of the Year, two very special people who are impacting the lives of those in need by lending a helping hand.
Hi, I'm Tim.
And I'm Larry.
And we
we
are
are the Code Busters.
We are brothers-in-law. Our wives are sisters.
We're a group of individuals who are part of a ministry from Compass Church who are out there trying to help the citizens who are needy in the city of Goodyear.
Yeah, I was attending Compass Church. The pastor happened to mention this ministry that they had that went out into the neighborhoods and helped people that couldn't help themselves maintain their lawns for a variety of values. I thought, wow, that's a great ministry. And we discovered that it was really not viable at the time. It had been left for dead, I guess, for a couple of years. That's why we got back involved with Code Busters.
Tim and I will get in our trucks and we'll go drive by and take a look at the yard and knock on the door and talk to the people and find out a little bit more information about exactly what the violation might be and what kind of services do they typically need. We're very humbly honored to receive the Goodyear Citizen of the Year Award. I can't even begin to say how much it means to both of us to be recognized for doing something that you love to do for people who need to have it done and have no other recourse. And we don't expect to get recognized. That's the thing. It's just kind of like, hey, we enjoy doing it. At the end of a job or a project, we knock on the door. We kind of call it our reveal. We bring them back out into their yards and we show them the work that got done. And everybody's always very, very, very grateful. And that's the true blessing.
So it's something that we like to do and can do. And we'll keep doing it for as long as we can get out there.
What an incredible story. Well, Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and invite you to go ahead and read this proclamation. And Tim and Larry, good to see you guys up on stage.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, I appreciate all you do. Larry Olguin and Tim Kelly, I'm sure I didn't do that one, it was great, have demonstrated tremendous dedication to the city of Goodyear, and their service has positively impacted our community. And whereas Larry and Tim led a group of volunteers called Code Busters that assisted Goodyear residents who are unable to respond to code violations due to health, age, or disability. And whereas they have helped residents correct issues such as overgrowth weeds, yard cleanup, fallen trees, removing this burden and stress from vulnerable individuals. And whereas Larry and Tim's efforts to unite a group of volunteers for a common good exemplifies the city's core values of empathy, optimism, adaptability, and initiative. And whereas their efforts to selfishly help others in need enhance and strengthens our community and improves our quality of life for our residents, and whereas Larry and Tim are an invaluable asset to our city and their contribution makes Goodyear a better place, now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Joe Pizzillo, Mayor of Goodyear, Arizona, do hereby proclaim Larry and Tim as of the 2022 Citizen of the Year for their dedication and service to Goodyear community. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Goodyear, Arizona to be affixed the second day of February 2023. Let's give them a hand. Go ahead, say it.
Thank you, Mayor. Tim and I are just deeply honored
a little bit choked up. Foremost, we'd like to thank God for instilling in us the desire to go out and help those in need. But we can't do it on our own. We have a group of people who assist us, fellow code busters. And there's also the support and collaboration of Compass Church, our pastor sitting over here, and their collaboration with the city to help us with the job that we do. We also have a staff, or maybe our bosses are sitting over there, and we're the staff, and they deserve a Wife of the Year award for putting up with us throughout the year. And finally, I'd just like to say, or we'd like to say, it is so wonderful to live in the city of Goodyear.
Thank you. Thank you. I think she's going to grab that from you. There you go.
Perfect. Tim and Larry, thank you guys so much. We appreciate your dedication and the great service to our community. Well, now let's introduce our Corporate Citizens of the Year, a nonprofit group that is providing comfort and support to others needing hope restored to their lives.
Helping One Woman is an organization that pulls together the community to support a woman in the community that is in need.
They have to have had an irreplaceable loss in the last 12 months, and that could be a loss of a husband, an illness for themselves, or an illness to somebody in their family. Barb and I went to an event at our other location in Scottsdale for a good friend of ours who had lost her husband, and we were just shocked that the people were sitting at our table didn't even know her. And they were just there to show support for whoever that monthly nominee was.
So we said, well, let's try it. Let's see if we can make this work.
Everybody in the West Valley could benefit from this, so let's figure out how we could start this chapter. And we had about 40, 50 people we started with. And our largest event to date has been 350 people. We ask everybody to give at least a minimum of $10 gift.
The motto is one woman giving $10 to another woman can buy her lunch. 10 women giving $10 to a woman can buy her groceries, and 100 women giving $10 can make a difference.
All the monies that were brought in that night, from the raffle, from the silent auction, and from the registration table, will then all be gifted to that nominee that night.
And we pulled together to support that woman, not only by financials, but also by just the mere support of being there and showing that there can be complete strangers that are out there that want to be part of this organization and pull together to help a woman, and that she's not alone in the community. When everyone comes together, great things happen, and we envision that through helping this woman, we're helping their family, and through helping that family, we're helping the community.
It feels wonderful. We are so honored for this award.
It's inspiring to receive this award and knowing how much we're giving back to the community.
It's a fantastic feeling that our community has come together the way they have, and the amount of people that come to support each recipient every month, it's huge.
Well, Barb, Nicole, Sheetal, that's another great story of amazing service in our community. I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over to Mayor Pizzillo for his proclamation.
Whereas helping one woman is an important part of the Goodyear community, committed to helping women move forward during times of devastating difficulties and loss. And whereas they provided an opportunity for women to help one woman at a time through $10 donations during monthly dinner events. And whereas helping one woman exemplifies their motto, that one woman can buy another woman lunch, 10 women can buy another woman groceries, 100 women can make a real difference in another woman's life. And whereas they provide significant financial, emotional support to women who have experienced an unprecedented challenges in their life. And whereas helping one woman's attendance has grown by 122%, and they have gifted nearly, and this is key, $125,000 to 25 women in the West Valley since 2019. That is just awesome. And whereas helping one woman offers more than monetary gift to recipients, they bring our community together to surround women with heartfelt compassion, empathy, and support to help them to cope with difficult times. And whereas they have been a source of strength and hope for the families of Goodyear firefighter Austin Peck, former Goodyear firefighter Corey Notcha, if I said that correctly, and many other Goodyear residents. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Joe Pizzillo, Mayor of Goodyear, Arizona, do hereby proclaim the Helping One Woman Goodyear chapter as 2022 Corporate Citizen of the Year, in witness whereof I have set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Goodyear, Arizona, to be affixed this second day of February 2023. Let's give him a hand. Go ahead.
Thank you. On behalf of our board, Barb, Nicole, myself, Sheetal, and Tracy, who was not able to be here today, and all of our volunteers, thank you, Mayor Pizzillo, the City of Goodyear, for this distinguished honor. Helping one woman, how? We envision a world where everyone is willing to provide comfort and support to another person when they need hope restored in their life. In order to help create such a world, we are women joining together to demonstrate our support to help one woman at a time move forward in her journey through times of devastating trouble and loss. We believe when we help one woman, we're helping their family, and through that family, we're helping the community. And boy, when we come together, great things happen, doesn't it? We've helped 29 women, given $125,000 since we started our organization in 2019. Monthly, almost 80% of our attendees do not know our recipient, yet the community gathers. Seeing the community come together to help a woman in our community, whether it's to help her restore hope when she may need it most, or share her story to help heal and persevere, it's inspiring. It's infectious, and it makes your heart full. But our recipient is not the only person who's impacted. To fully understand the impact HOW has in our community, you have to attend and see it for yourself. So we'd like to take this opportunity and take a moment to encourage each of you to join us next week. Registration deadline is tomorrow morning on February 7th, Tuesday at the Wigwam, where we will help Celeste on her journey to help her heal with the recent loss of her son. We want to close by thanking our partners at the Wigwam, all of our recipient sponsors, donors, family, friends, volunteers, and attendees for your support. Without you, we couldn't do what we do. And finally, to each of our recipients, you are the reason behind what we do. Thank you to each of you for being brave enough to share your stories with all of us.
You know, those last two recipients are the perfect example why I always like to say we are a community, not just a collection of neighborhoods, which is what makes this great, okay? So with that, this concludes our meeting. I appreciate everybody coming. You can see our vision, but again, you can see how we value our citizenry and what they do out here and pride ourselves on all these people stepping up and making this a great community. And that's what I'm really prideful of. That's what I really enjoy being mayor, is this. You know, it's not the day-to-day, it's seeing our citizens coming together to help each other. And that's what I'm most proud of, and we've got the best out here. So with that, have a good rest of the day. And remember, it's a great time to be in Goodyear.